Another day is starting here at the Eagle, and every day has become a turkey trot. Every day has become a turkey trot. And I looked up there a little bit ago, just right after daylight, and little Buddy was out there. Well, Buddy's still out there, isn't he? He was behind that tree. There he is. There's Buddy. He's around every day. Golly, I wish little Whitey would come back. Look at that turkey out there in full strut. Look at that turkey, big gobbler in full strut. But the turkeys are around every day, and just, I don't really even know how many turkeys are there. They're all but impossible to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. And some are behind the tree. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, more behind the tree, 52, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Well, besides the ones behind the tree that I missed, I have counted a light running 59. I bet y'all didn't even know I could count that high, huh? There's my buddy, little Buddy. That's little Whitey's buddy is what it is. It's Whitey's buddy, and since Whitey has not come back in a while, and he may never come back. That's one of the problems during the rut. You do lose some of your bucks. Some of them just simply leave, and they live in other areas. They don't ever find their way back home. To zoom in, we lose a lot of our focus, but you can see Buddy's moving back around. The good thing is he's hanging around the house. He's got a lot less vulnerability to critters and hunters and autos and everything in the world. I mean, that end up killing white-tailed deer. He's got a better chance to live the closer he stays to home. And had that little thing on his foot. Got that off now, so he's fine. But the turkeys is amazing. In the neighborhood of 60 turkeys, the Twin Eagle neighborhood. Now, these are not obviously all the turkeys on the ranch, but it's a pretty good bunch of them. There is a little bunch of turkeys right out there that I believe are pretty much all gobblers. I think that they pretty much are. Might be a hen or two in there, but I think those are jakes and gobblers totally. They do separate by sex in the wintertime. Now they'll be around with the hens. I saw 6 or 7 there a minute ago. I guess they're all going down below the hill pretty much. That's young gobblers right there, I believe. No, this could be hens. No, those are young gobblers. What I'd seen a minute ago, and a lot of them went below the hill. This one's got a longer beard. No. There was 7 or 8 or 9 birds there. They're right on the crest of a little hill, so a lot of them have gone down below that hill. Mr. Longbeard up there. But that little bunch, you can see them. Another turkey with a beard. They kind of all got down in that little area right there, but that's a little bunch right there. There's 7 or 8 or 9 birds, all gobblers. Probably some of those just trailing back behind. Could be some of the hens, but that's just a little wad of gobblers. There's their beards down there. You can see the backs of them. Always pretty to look at turkeys in the woods. Hello, Sunday morning, and hello, wild turkeys. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We have wild turkeys. Yes, we do. Well, you take a look out there. Now, I've been gone. That big gobbler right there strutting. Look at that big gobbler strutting. Yeah, he went back down. Look at all of them out through the woods. You look at all of them out through the woods. They're strutting over by the feeder. Now, Buddy's out there. They're just about as far as I can see in every direction. Quite a few gobblers out there. So I see about three gobblers up in strut right there. It's just after daylight on Sunday morning. I got home last night and watched Oklahoma basketball. Got the truck unloaded, moved my Ram truck over there. Got Chris's chariot out to carry her to church this morning. Barely light out there. But oh my, at the birds, look at all of them. They are definitely settled in here and roosting right here by the house. They're settled in probably for the winter. We're probably gonna see turkeys every day. Probably a lot of the turkeys that we have on the property are right here. Probably not all of them, but I would imagine pretty close to all of them. Last time I counted was in excess of 60. And that's a lot of turkeys in one bunch. I don't know how many gobblers are out there in that bunch. Quite a few of the gobblers are young gobblers. Quite a few of them are not. Quite a few of them are mature. They're hard to count. Evening time. Part of the lights have already come on the dock. I counted the turkeys as they come out of the woods into the front yard. And there's 30. That's right, 30. There's a little Buddy down there. Buddy's got an injured back, or a back hip, I'd say. I noticed I was real close to him today, and he had a back hip that looked injured. Walking a little bit funny. But he seems to be doing fine. But that is a bunch of turkeys. Mostly hens. It's hens and then their babies. Their babies, of course, are just about as big as they are. And some of those babies are jakes. You can see the bigger ones with the red head, the darker ones, those are all jakes. They have very small little beards, but they do have beards. And I counted them as they came through the woods in between a couple, 2 or 3 trees. And I counted 30. Some of those turkeys are down by the house, underneath and around closer to the house, and so I can't really quite see them. But you can see that it's just a tremendous amount of wild turkeys. It just shows you what proper management can do to a turkey population. Now, can the state manage plots of land 2,000 acres? I don't know. Individuals certainly can manage their own little plot of land, whether it's 5 acres or 5,000 acres. They can manage it if they will. And if they will, we're gonna have a lot more turkeys. One of the critical things is getting rid of the things that destroy turkeys' nest, like raccoons and skunks and possums. Critters, coyotes, bobcats, mountain lions. Critters of all kinds thrive on turkeys, and quite a few of them will catch turkeys, both babies and adult turkeys. And if you can limit the predators, your turkey population will grow, and it can grow immensely in a short period of time. But if we allow the nest to be destroyed by non-management, which is what some wildlife departments do, they study things and they don't do anything. It's kind of like a lot of government simply talking about a problem and yet doing the same thing year after year after year after year and wondering why the problem is not being solved and why the agency or organization is still failing. We have a lot of that in almost every government agency there is, particularly federal government. States have do a little bit more about things because they have to. They can't print money. We can't print money here in Oklahoma like they can in Washington. So we have to operate within our means. Since our current governor became governor, he turned a deficit into a $2 billion surplus. And now he's wanting to cut taxes since we have a surplus. Why are we still charging the same amount of taxes? So, anyway, it shows that when you take action as opposed to talk about it, what can happen with wild turkey populations. And this is just one little ranch in southern Oklahoma. And it just warms my heart to see those. And if we look up above, we see little buddy down there. Still no Whitey. Whitey's got horns like that, except larger. We're hoping that somebody didn't kill him. The very first horns that had a split ear, you killed a pet deer. That's all I can say. But hopefully, he's still alive and breathing. Will find his way back to the ranch. Not a particularly huge bunch of turkeys in this yard this morning, but I've already, as it was beginning to get daylight, I've already seen probably 30, yeah, I don't know, 25 or 30, 20 or 30, I don't know, I didn't count, go around the end of the building number 4 out there where the vehicles are. They both need to be washed today. It's supposed to get to 59 or 60 degrees. It was 29 earlier. I just looked, it was 27, I believe. But a pretty good little bunch there. See the gobblers out there trying to strut a little bit. I don't know how many birds are out there now. See 3, 7, 8, some behind the tree, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 3 or 4 or 5 over there. Probably 15 or 18 birds out there. A lot of them behind the trees. That feeder I don't think has gone off yet. Oh, there's a deer. How about that? How about that? We get to look at it and see. I think it's TC. Still a little dark out there. Been watching them for about 20 minutes. That's TC. Haven't seen Forrest since yesterday morning. Did not go out and try to feed him by hand. Still just a little leery about that. I'll wait and let that big goblin strut. That is so cool. I turkey hunt. Well, I did turkey hunt a lot before Chris got sick. Now, I don't really take off the time to go turkey hunting, taking care of her, but it's a beauty right there. Just a young bird, little beard sticking out front. A bunch of girls. Won't be long. Get through December, January, February, and March. End of February and March, they'll start rutting real heavily. The boys are just practicing right now. Oh, me. Crows showing up to try to steal some South Fresh deer feed. I guess we need to say deer and turkey feed, don't we? That looks like the only female albino that we have left. Beautiful deer. Hopefully she'll give us a couple more little albinos here in a few months. We could keep her alive. It's a challenging year. Another little group of turkeys on this side of the house. I've actually seen 3 groups today. This morning, as I've wandered around from window to window. Below 30 degrees out there. We've had a beautiful morning. turkeys coming out of the trees and moving around on this cold December morning. It's going to get a lot nicer as the day goes on. I love to see them walking in the woods with the water behind them. That's a bonus. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 gobblers. There's a big gobbler out there. This bunch of birds just came in. Actually, several gobblers. Look at those. Look at all those gobblers. There's probably, this bunch is almost all gobblers. This bunch of birds just come in. You can see the feeder going out there. TC and Buddy are the only 2 deers out there. I've seen another deer. Quite a few of those gobblers in this bunch of, these are all gobblers. Oh my goodness, how many are there? Maybe like a dozen gobblers, pretty much all jakes. These are boys that have been born this year. You can see that that boy there has no beard. You look at them up close, you can see some small beards if you get in there real tight to them, just like I'm doing right here. You see the little small beard sticking out. They've got a red head and they're much blacker. That one has no beards. Many of these right over here have just a little tiny beard starting. There's about a dozen gobblers right here. Oh, we're gonna hear a lot of gobbling this spring. These guys will all be gobbling like crazy. Now these jakes will run together through a lot of the spring. You can see that some of them don't really have anything at all sticking out, but those are not hens, those are gobblers. 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 right here. You can see they're getting a little excited there. They'll fight each other. They'll fight each other and they'll carry on. Those are all young gobblers born this year. Just give you the success of our predator control program and our planning program. These birds over there are gobblers as well. I see another deer back there. Go look out another window here and see what we could get before they all get away. They're gonna all come and go in between those 2 buildings there, I think, building 1 and 2. No, they're coming back around this way. Huh? Look at that. I gotta go look out through another window. It's about a dozen gobblers here. You hear them all gobble? Hear them all gobble? And I'm inside shooting over the sink. Been doing a lot of dishes right here since Christmas got sick. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that fantastic? You know, we are quickly approaching the shortest day of the year from a daylight standpoint. Looking at day-night, December 21, which is just around the corner. It's the shortest day of the year. And then the days will start getting longer. These mornings are spectacular when you look out there at that. I haven't seen an animal yet this morning at all. The wind is from the north because it's dead calm up close to the bank here on the lake side of the house. And you can see there's some ripples on the other side, but barely a north wind. 29 degrees. Probably drop another degree or 2 before the sun really gets up. The lights are on at the dock. Some of them, the outside lights turn off at 6 o'clock. They're on a separate timer. Those lights there will turn off at dusk and dawn. So those lights turn on a little earlier this time of the year. And summertime, they'll turn on a little later. The other lights are 6 o'clock till 6 o'clock. And it's after 6 o'clock now. Not a lot after, but after 6 o'clock. So the outside lights turn off. 2 running down the sides of that 90-foot long pier leading out to the end dock. But that's a spectacular sunrise. Even though it's clear, that the moon's over there. You can't see it right now. You could see it a few minutes ago. Just a little sliver of moon, but pretty cool. Pretty cool. And that's another start to another special day that God has given us to participate in.